Good evening, everyone. My name is Henry Kiner, and tonight I will be talking about a series of a subgenre of science fiction called the Warhammer 40K universe. What this is it's a alternate look at what could happen in the future if one man decided to rule, well, basically humankind, and then sent human race out to the universes, and then something happened, a time of strife. The different colonies on the different worlds were abandoned, and over a period of I don't know how many years, 100 to 200 years, they reverted back to each world reverted to a type of Dark Ages. It's called the Dark Ages, the time of strife. And then this one man decided to bring the human race back together again. There's a story about him. I have not found it yet. I'm looking for it. He is called the Emperor. He had a name beforehand, but everybody knows him as the Emperor. Now, what I'm going to be talking about is actually a series of books within the subgenre of the Warhammer 40K universe. This book is called The Soul Hunter. It's a Night Lord's novel, and this is it. Now, the way the universe is ran is the Emperor created sons, about 10 of them, I believe. He genetically created them in a laboratory underneath Earth, or as it's called in this universe, Terra, Terra, which is actually the official name for our planet. It's called Terra, which means Earth. Now, he created these sons for a specific reason. He planned to actually send them out to these worlds, have these worlds, basically they grow up on these planets, and then when they got old enough, he would come and welcome them back into the fold of humanity. To do this, he had to do two things. One, he had to create the sons, the Primarchs, and two, he had to destroy all religion. And in one of the books that I have, it tells about how he did this. See, before he created the Space Marines, which is genetically engineered humans, men, soldiers, he actually created, they're called the Guardians. They're the alpha version of the Space Marines, and they're a little bit genetically modified. And in that story about them, he killed the last Catholic priest in the whole world, the whole universe. And the Catholic priest basically said, I know why you're doing this. You can't have your religion with my religion still active. And I'm the only one who knows it, so you have to kill me. Go ahead, I forgive you. So basically that's what he did. He killed him. And so he created his religion, which is all about him as the Emperor and sole repository of God's light. He tries to make it look like he is God. He has powers. He has these special abilities. He's psychic, for one thing, and that plays a big part in the universe. Now, I'll explain that in a second. To go back to the Space Marines thing, he created these Primarchs, his 10 sons, about 10 to 12. He sent them to other planets. Well, his plan didn't go out exactly right. What happened was chaos. As there is light, there is chaos. There's dark, there's light, there's good, there's bad. Chaos intervened and jump-started his plan. He was going to wait another 20 or 30 years, but he didn't have that time. There was a battle inside his laboratory, and he ejected his sons out into the multiple universes. Each of these sons landed on a different planet. They grew up whether raised or orphaned, they grew up with special abilities. They're stronger, faster, smarter, taller. They have psychic abilities. One son grew up on a planet where he had to be able to fly, so he grew wings. He's called Sanguinius, which means blood. This Primarch, not this guy, but the Primarch of this chapter, he grew up on a planet where there was no sun. No sun at all. Everything was in the dark. And so he grew up orphaned, the only one of the 10 who grew up without anybody around. He grew up by himself. He grew up as a killer. Within each Primarch is embedded good. They can be bad, but they do things because they feel that it's good, it works, and they do it for the benefit of mankind. So he grew up killing bad guys. And the planet he grew up on was awful. It was completely compromised. The society was ran by the tiered. The higher bad guys went over the lower. There was no good. It was all corruption. So he became the Night Haunter, Haunter, and he would kill all these bad guys. And slowly but surely, he civilized Nostramos. Nostramos. That's I'd have to find it. I can't spell it, but Nostramos is the name of the planet. And so, when he grew up, he was the leader. He was the Night Haunter. He was the last thing bad guys would see ever. So when the Emperor made his grand crusade to go to these worlds and get his sons and bring them into the fold as the leaders of his Space Marine armies, as the legions, he looked at his dad and he said, yes, well, I'll go. That was all, nothing else. So they created the Night Lords chapter of the Space Marines. At the time it was called the Night Lords Legion. Legions, basically what they mean, legion, a huge army. So he called them the Night Lords because he was from a night planet and they were the lords of mankind, basically. So then there was this grand heresy, the Horus heresy. Horus was another Primarch, the first son, and his legion was called the Alpha Legion. Well, to cut a long story short, since this is a huge topic, Horus went to chaos, became a heretic, because the Emperor started out on a good note. He was going to civilize the entire human race, bring it all under one rule, his. Well, he was doing it wrong. He was trying to make people believe that he was God, and Horus said, you're not God. You started this with a good idea, you're following along on a bad idea, so you need to stop. Father and son had a fight. He slew his father, but his father didn't die. So now his father is kept alive in Terra, on the planet Terra, on a golden throne that requires 1,000 sacrifices a day. The psychic energy of the dead sustains the corpse of the Emperor. Now, as I said, the Emperor was psychic, plays a big part. In the universes, there are aliens. The Eldar, which is a type of elf, the orcs, a bunch of different other ones. You'd have to read the stories to know all of them. But the main thing is chaos. Chaos is bad. It's ruled by demon princes, and there's demons and everything all about inside chaos. They live in the immaterium, which is the psychic web on the outside of the universe that connects to the universe by openings. The Eye of Terror, Terror, is one of them, and covers a planet of another chapter of Marines. And so that's now the home base of chaos. Well, the only way civilization can travel between the stars is by the astronomicon, which is basically the astral projection of the Emperor's psychic ability. It's a guiding light that all navigators, they use their psychic ability to focus on the light and makes travel easier. That was a side note. I'm sorry about that. Now, after the heresy, after the Emperor was killed, everybody on Terra, all the high officials, they decided they needed to do away with the legions and make chapters. So they took each of the major legions, the 7 main legions, and they created them down into chapters. And the other 10 to 12 Primarchs got their own chapters in. The Soul Haunter Primarch and the Night Lord's chapter were the only chapter that stayed the same. Because he, before he died, decided to quit recruiting. Because when he was recruiting from Nostramos, the planet, his home planet, he realized all he was doing was bringing corruption in. Because after he left the planet, they backslid into corruption again. So every recruit that he brought to be a Space Marine in the Night Lord's chapter was corrupted. And so he told them no more recruiting at all. And so they didn't recruit from Nostramos. They recruited from other areas. Well, to stop the corruption of Nostramos, the Haunter, the Primarch, destroyed the planet with an exterminatus bomb, which is basically a planet-destroying bomb. One bomb destroys one planet. So then he was killed. The Soul Hunter, the name of the book, is also the name of a captain in the chapter. He's the captain of, I'd have to actually look into it. I've read this just one time. But his name is Talos. Talos. And he was a close confidant of the Primarch. He was given the name Soul Hunter by the Night Lord's Primarch. And the reason is because Talos would disobey one time. All Space Marines are under. I'll explain the Space Marines first. Space Marines, as I said, they're genetic humans. They're bigger, tougher, stronger, faster, everything. They're somebody like me, who, as you can see, I'm not all that big. But then they're put into a conditioning booth, and everything is completely remodified. So imagine the pain and the agony, the mental conditioning, everything. They're trained to always follow orders, especially from the Primarch. Well, the Night Haunter told Talos, "You are my Soul Hunter. And here's why. There will be one soul that you will hunt, just one. I will tell you not to. You are not allowed to, but you will disobey me one time. And this will be to kill the assassin that comes to kill me. I deserve to die. The reason I deserve to die is because I am corrupt." He says this because the Emperor, before they died, now, Space Marines live forever, almost, basically. There's a lot more to this universe that I cannot explain in the time given, because the 40,000 universe, the 40K universe, has been around a long time. There's also a Warhammer Fantasy universe that coexists alongside the Warhammer 40K universe. They're the same, but they're different. The Space Marines are not hardly ever mentioned in that, and the Inquisitors are hardly mentioned in the 40K universe, even though they exist the same, because it's two, same entity, separated. It's a huge universe. Anyways, the Night Haunter was there at the Battle of Horus's Heresy battle. And before that, he talked to the Emperor, and the Emperor told him, chastened him. Okay, the Night Lords have one special ability that the Night Haunter use. They know fear. They are not fearful, but they know fear. And they know terror. And the Night Lord, the Night Haunter, founded his Space Marine chapter on the basis that civilization is not brought about by peace. It's brought about by fear. If you fear someone, you are going to do what they say, regardless of how you feel about them. If you fear somebody enough, you'll do what they say all the time. If you love somebody, you're prone to disobey if you feel like it. If you are scared of somebody, bone-chilling terror, then you won't. So that's what he does. They go in, and they're the precision instrument that the Emperor uses on the planets that are so corrupt that they won't follow the rule. They send the Night Lords in, and there have been moments where the Night Lord's ship would come above the planet, and the planet would basically give in, because the Night Lords would go in, and instead of talking, all Space Marines, they don't talk, but all the other Space Marines will give you a chance. The Night Lords would come in and kill everybody, wipe out the entire chain of command, all the way down to the janitor, and then install a new chain of command and tell them, this is what's going to happen to you if you don't follow my orders. And so that's what they would do. Well, the Emperor decided that he didn't want that anymore. Even though he created that, he decided he didn't want it. So he punished them, and he called them heretics. And that's the worst thing that you could be called in the 40K universe, is a heretic. Because heretics can be killed for no reason. If you're labeled a heretic, equate the 40K universe with the Catholic Inquisition. Because that's basically what it is. Only a more gothic, more dark Catholic Inquisition spread across the whole universe and beyond. That's about as close as you can get to understanding what I'm talking about, unless you've read about it. Inquisitors can call you a heretic and kill you and your entire family. No punishment. So he called the Night Haunter and his Night Lords chapter a heretic Space Marine chapter, which now means they can be killed by anybody. It takes a Space Marine to kill a Space Marine, but they can be killed by anybody. No repercussion. The Night Haunter, when he said that he deserves to die, he knew he brought the corruption, because that's what he was supposed to do. Kill for no reason. A remorseless killer. So he knew he was going to die. But he said, I'm going to die proving my father wrong, the Emperor. I'm going to die because he's right. I am correct. But I'm corrupt because he made me this way. And he's wrong. And when he kills me, or when his assassin kills me, it will prove that yes, I deserved it, but you are wrong. You are a heretic as well. And so he told Talos, you will disobey me. You will be told not to kill her. You are supposed to let her go, because if she does not get away to tell my father that I'm dead, then I won't be proven right. But you won't let that happen. You will kill her. And Talos said, no, I won't. Well, he did. He killed her. He got in trouble by the other captains in the Space Marine, the Night Lords chapter. But that was before they realized that the assassin had stolen the artifacts of the Night Haunter. Then they got mad and wanted her dead. Well, he's the one who killed her. So that's why he's called Soul Hunter, and this book is about him. Now, there are two other books in this series. I don't have the names of those, but they go on to explain more about the Night Lords and Talos and the Emperor. So that is the Warhammer 40k universe. It's dark, twisted. It's a Catholic, dark outlook on life. I said that wrong. It's a dark version of the Catholic's outlook on life. What would happen if one man was in charge of everything, created basically an army to make you do what he says, and then dies but doesn't die, stays alive in a comatose life, and then all the priests and the clergy and the ecclesi, I can't say the word, the congregation, the church founded under him, they make the rules, and they say the emperor said. It's like me saying that God said to make everything yellow. Well, sounds stupid, but if you didn't do what they said, if you didn't paint your house yellow, they could kill you because the emperor said to. The emperor's the boss. Even though he's dead, he can't speak. They said so. So that's how the universe is in the 40k. You do what you're told, or you die. It even says, let me read a little bit here for you, because this will explain a little bit more. This is in the front of every Space Marine, every Warhammer 40,000 book. Okay? This is in the front of every book. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and master of a million worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrying lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day, so that he may never die. That sounds bad. And then there's one more here. To be a man in such times is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim dark future there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods. That last bit is in reference to something else. Because as well as the 40k universe, there's also the alien side. And the Eldar, as I said earlier, type of Eld, they created a demon prince. Because the elves were all about themselves, all about their love, all about them. They did whatever they wanted. If it involved picking up a human and dissecting them alive for the pleasure of knowing what it looked like, they would. Well, they took pleasure in it into an excessive amount. And they created Slaanesh, S-L-A-N-E-E-S-H, the Dusting God. That's what that means. If you want to know more information about all this, about the Warhammer 40k, about the Space Marines, about the Emperor, the Custodians, not the Guardians, the Custodians, the Horus Heresy, any of this, you can go to www.blacklibrary.com, or you can go to www.games/workshop.com, because the Black Library is two things. It's a real bookshop that has all of the Warhammer 40k books. It's also in the Warhammer 40k. The Black Library is a Eldar repository of knowledge within the chaos transport lines that they created, wormholes inside chaos, inside the immaterial. But for us, it's a online book repository. So if you want to order any of them and find out any of them, you can order this one. This one is a good one. It's called Soul Hunter. It's by Aaron Dembski Bowden. Let me see if I can show you the name. AARONDEMBSKI-BOWDEN. Now there is one more book I would like to show you, and I'm looking for it right now. I think I found it. 1 second. This is about the Eldar. There are two types of Eldar. The Dark Eldar and the Eldar. ELDAR. This book is also pretty good for those of you interested. Path of the Renegade by Andy Chambers. Okay. I think that I am done here. I hope that this is within the time limit. I hope that this is viewable and understandable, and if not, I do apologize. I am a big fan of the Warhammer 40k universe. It's awesome. You can read the books. There's a Space Marine Xbox game. It's called Space Marine. There is board games you can play, and there's a pen and paper game where you play the character role playing. I've done all of it. I have the game. I've role played. I read the books. There was talk coming out about a cross-platform game where you're actually a Space Marine and you can play it on Xbox, PlayStation, and computer all tied together. It's called the Dark Millennium. It has not came out yet. It's in the makings, and I'm eagerly awaiting that. Well, thank you very much for your time and listening, and I hope y'all have a great evening and have a great